Hi, welcome to this Pick a Crystal reading. So I chose to do this reading because I know this year's been rough for a lot of people. We've lost a lot of people due to COVID-19. So I just kind of wanted to help those people connect to a lost loved one on the other side. So the way that this works is you basically just pick whichever crystal that you feel most drawn to. Try to tap into your intuition. This first one here is a Sodalite crystal. This one here is a rough Petrified wood crystal. This one here is a shiny green Muscovite crystal, and this is a purple Amethyst crystal. So just take a few seconds, take a deep breath in and out, and tap into your intuition and see which crystal is most drawn to you. And once you pick your crystal, you can go ahead and look at the description box below, and I'll have a list of each time slot per crystal deck so that you can go ahead and skip ahead to that time slot. But for now, just take a second or two. If you need more time, just go ahead and pause the video and pick your crystal. For my Instagram family out there, I'll be posting each crystal deck consecutively after this post. So deck number 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome pile number 1. Let's see what your deck looks like. Okay, so I'll just give like a quick overview of what each card position is. So I'll zoom in there a little bit. Okay, so this first one here represents the loved one who has passed, like their characteristics and how they were. This one here represents a message that they want to give. This one here represents something that they think is important. This one here represents how they're doing on the other side, and then this one here represents how they'll communicate with you in the future. Okay, so we can move this over a little bit. The first one we have here, this is representation of this person, which is the Six of Chalices. So the Six of Chalices tells me that this person is very loving, like in an innocent kind of way, almost childlike innocence. That innocence of being a child, like having no worries and getting excited over the little things. That's similar to the attitude of this person. Could be someone younger or like an actual child, but since this is more of like a general reading for everyone, there are lots of energies involved in it. So it could also be someone that had childlike mentality, or someone who tended to revert back to childlike ways. We also see all these chalices here which represent emotion and love. So this person is probably more on the emotional side, very caring and nurturing, as you can see in the picture here. Although more on the emotional side, they always try to keep a positive attitude though. I feel like they were probably a water sign, possibly an air sign, but more like a water sign. So either Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, maybe. And this second one here is the higher self. Higher self in reverse is what you got. And this is the message that they'd like to give. So, okay. So the priestess in the picture, she represents the barrier of the scrolls that are in front of her and the aspect of ourselves that is the barrier of the hidden scrolls. And the scrolls represent esoteric wisdom. So overall, they both represent the idea of yourself being the barrier to your higher self and esoteric wisdom. They're standing in still, reflecting water, so I feel like this person is wanting you to know that you have all the answers to the scroll right in front of you. All the answers you seek will only become available when you're in still, clear water though, like when you still yourself and reflect. So still your racing mind, because even though I know it's kind of hard, even if that means you have to meditate, then try it. Challenge yourself to sit and quiet the mind, because you'll actually be amazed at the information you can receive when you do. I don't think this message is really directed just at the one person listening to this, but I think they kind of meant it to be more as a message to everyone and us as a whole. And it being reversed says that this person they think that like we might be searching for this information in the wrong way. And like they want us to know, they want you to know, you might have to like flip your perspective or change the way you look at things in order to see things clearer, because even if that means like changing things around that you think is working for you right now, but it's not. So and the word meditation keeps like popping up in my head, so I feel like they're kind of like really pushing this meditation. So next is the Ten of Chalices, and this one here represents something that is important to them. And 10 of Chalices. So it's kind of awesome that this is here because 10 of Chalices is all about optimism, joy, and freedom to feel and to be. Celebrating the wonder of the human experience and the vastness of our capacity to feel emotion in all of its diversity. This card literally represents bliss. This person thinks it's important to live and to feel, like to embrace all your emotions, all the good and the bad, and enjoy this life because it goes really fast. This person also thinks it's important to not hold anything back or to keep anything hidden, and just to embrace life as is while focusing on the joys of the experience. They say it benefits you to embrace and feel the more positive emotions rather than the bad, but a lot of people don't realize that they focus more on the bad than the good sometimes. So not saying to reject the bad feelings, but still embrace them, just don't dwell on them, pretty much. So some questions that they kind of might want you to ask yourself: are you feeling the magnificence or the joy of the moment of your life right now? Or how are you sharing the joy with other people in your life? Like, are you keeping it all to yourself? And do you give thanks for the joys that flow into your life, like the blessings and everything? So yeah, so this next one here is representation of how they're doing on the other side. And that is the Four of Flames. Okay, so this one's kind of cool that it's here because the Four of Flames, it represents a time of celebration and festivities. This energy of the card is very grounding, solidifying, and structuring to the creative process. It's also covered in orange, which is the color associated with the sacral chakra, which is associated with creativity and pleasure. So this place that they're in is not a bad place. It's very pleasurable, very grounded and stable. This card is a representation of how this loved one is doing it on the other side, and it's literally all about the heart and the home. Also about celebrating family and friends and all that gives sustenance to growth and what nourishes us. So this person is celebrating right now as they know now that it's just a process, and they've just taken the next step of the process, and they want you to see it and take it like as guidance in a way. So specifically though, this card, it says it's a time for celebration and the kingdom of your world is adorned. Joy and a foundation of the creative dreams of the Three of Flames are now manifest in this blessed key, and all is well in your realm. So they want you to know that this energy of where they are is pleasurable and feels more like home of creation. That's why it's surrounded in orange, because orange is creativity. So next here we have how they're going to communicate with you in the future. And you got transition in reverse. So transition, actually in most other decks is the death card. And basically from her cold marble table or sarcophagus, a spirit moves through the tunnel, as described by so many who've reported near-death experiences and other out-of-body visions. The tunnel is an allegory of how death is not the end, but rather a shift to a new experience or change in form. Remember, energy can't be destroyed, it can just be changed in form. So even the densest matter, like steel, eventually rusts and returns to the earth, and from that mineral deposit, new life makes way. So the main way this person will communicate with you in the future is through your transition. Not saying that they won't send you signs, but they may not be the signs that you're looking for. In reverse, the direction that it was placed represents stillness and stagnation. In this case, I feel like it's more stillness, and that goes back to the second card here, of the message that they want to give you with quieting the mind, the loud chatter of the mind, and being still and meditating. Because like I mentioned earlier, you'd be surprised at the information you can receive when you slow the thoughts inside your head. So this person, I do feel like they have ascended to the higher dimensions, and they want you to join them when it's your time to transition. So they say truly get rid of that heaviness and bring light to the shadows of your life and raise your vibration and make your spirit light enough to be able to ascend with them. Because if your soul is too dense to ascend to the fourth dimension or higher, because you're carrying so many heavy and unresolved emotions and problems, then you might get stuck reincarnating back here on earth and trying to relearn these lessons that you didn't learn this lifetime. So They want you to do it this lifetime so that you can join them in the higher dimensions when it's your time to transition. This person will communicate with you through meditation, your focus, silence, and stillness. So you might not hear their voices directly, but might be received through like thoughts or messages in your head more. So look out for those. Still your mind, meditate. Even if it's like 5 minutes a day, start out with that. That's definitely still effective. But yeah, let me know what you think. If it resonated with you, great. If it didn't, that's okay too. Just let me know. And yeah, thanks for listening. Welcome, pile number 2. Let's see what your deck looks like. Okay, so I'll just give you a quick little overview of the positions of each card. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, so the first card here represents this person, like their characteristics and how they are. This card here represents a message that they want to give. This one represents something that they think is important. This one represents how they're doing on the other side. This one represents how they'll communicate with you in the future. Okay, so this first one here is what you got as their representation, which is the Master of Flames. Okay, so Master of Flames is he's the ultimate authority figure. This person was very passionate, never stopped aiming towards a higher purpose in life or towards their higher self or best version of themselves. They learned to overcome their ego self, creating influential character and allowing them to master their crafts. So this person understood the yin-yang balance of the spirit and was aware of the gentleness of love and its unconditional depth. Also not afraid to tap into their emotions. Not saying for everyone that this person was a male, but definitely more of like a stronger spirit or masculine spirit. So the flames, they represent fiery will, inspiration, and passion, and the things that motivate us. So without a doubt, this person was inspirational and had leader-like personality traits, rightfully in control because they knew how to handle it. I want to say this person was probably a fire sign, so possibly an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, I would guess. Yeah, so this next one here is the Hanging Man, and this one here represents a message that they'd like to give. And the way I'm receiving this message is this card is like the representation of you right now, observing reality from an inverted perspective. He's in a stilled pendulum at rest, so a potential energy, disengaged, floating, meditating, and surrendering. This person wants you to know that there will be times on the path when you need to look at things from a different perspective. There will be epiphanies when reversals will bring opportunities to be reborn. Also, that sacrificing your position on an issue and looking at it from a different perspective may bring enlightenment. The Hanging Man, he appears to be wanting to be reborn, like a preborn infant in the womb, reversing itself to prepare for passage out of a state of suspended animation from one world into the next, or into a new spiritual consciousness. He's on a vision quest. He's opening to new altered state of awareness and experiencing new insights. So some things you might want to ask yourself are, how may you be stuck? What do you need to meditate on? What are you waiting for clarity on? What are some things that you need to look at differently? They want you to reflect a little and see what needs to be done in order to get that pendulum moving again and swinging again and out of stagnation. So that's their message to you. This next one here, it represents something that they think is important, which is the Ten of Flames. Okay. I'm not sure if I showed you the Hanged Man up close, so if I didn't, here it is. Okay, anyways, Ten of Flames, something that they think is important. So as we climb the spiral of awakening, we do feel the weighty burden of how much there still is to do, how much work there is of shining that light into darkness. So it can be exhausting and sometimes demoralizing, as is on the card, you can see. So no doubt we've learned so much about the creative process and the spiritual journey moving through this spiral staircase, but all of that processing, it does take a toll on us. So it's possible that too much could have been taken on our shoulders as well, and it's time to release that burden and pass that torch on to someone else. So for now, they're saying it's time to take a break and upload all the information that you've learned and recharge yourself, recharge your energy fields. This loved one values rest and sleep, or recharging yourself. They stress the importance of recharging yourself, to be able to process new lessons and recharge, because without rest you won't be able to do that. And also so that you can regain strength for those next flight of stairs that you climb. They're basically just saying that you're tired and exhausted and to go recharge because it's important and they think it's important. And this one here, this next one is the 9 of Orbs. This one represents how they're doing on the other side. Alright. Okay, so this one kind of looks a little intimidating. Don't worry about that. The 9 of Orbs, it's possible that this person could have left unexpectedly or not in a good mindset. There are a lot of energies involved in this reading, so I'm also sensing that this loved one could have taken their own life, or maybe it was taken unfairly, and that they felt maybe that they still had more to, or maybe that they felt that they still had more to do on this realm before they died. So when we leave Earth, we go through this process of kind of like karmic cleansing, or we'll go through these stages and have to answer to karma we created in our life to see if we truly learn the lessons that we came to learn, preparing for the next level of consciousness, or whether we have to reincarnate back into the 3-dimensional realm to try to learn those lessons the next time around. Depending on a religious belief, it might be described as judgment or something different. I feel like this person is going through those stages of karmic cleansing and judgment right now, and the reflection may not be so pretty. If you see their face here, they're kind of like hiding in shame because they're scared of the review. They're scared to be judged right now, realizing that there are things that they wish they would have learned before the transition or did differently. The orbs, they represent thoughts in the mind. As you can see, this person is very much in the deepest part of their psyche working through that cleansing. You might feel more disconnected with them now more than ever because of it. So when our spirit passes from Earth, it can only climb to its own level of density. So if you have unresolved stuff weighing heavy on your spirit when you pass, it's going to be hard for you to ascend due to your soul's heaviness. So if your soul is still as dense as the 3rd dimension, then you can only reincarnate back to the 3D planet, this Earth. So which is why it's so important to heal your mind in this lifetime, raise your vibration in your spirit and this planet as a whole. You can see this person has ascended, but not enough. See how they're kind of they look like they're still inside the dirt. They kind of feel stuck. But they feel stuck. That's kind of up to them because they're only stuck until they choose to face their karma and work through it. So it kind of seems like they might be trying to avoid facing it out of fear of judgment and shame. This person isn't necessarily in a bad place, but they're paying for their actions in the most justifiable way because they happen to leave this earth before they were able to do it here. They want you and us as a whole to focus on healing the mind and resolving issues we've pushed off deep down in our psyches so that the transition is easier for us, and so that the disease that holding these issues causes doesn't shorten our lifetime here. So that's basically how they're doing. Like I said, it's not a bad place. Every spirit goes through this karmic cleansing. So yeah. So last but not least, we have this card here, which represents how they'll communicate with you in the future. That's the 3 of Crystals. Okay, so this one's a little more difficult to see as a form of communicating with you. This person will communicate with you through blessings and through your manifestations, through inspiration. This is a picture of a crystal shop, actually, and a manifestation of a man's inspiration to build this shop out of love and inspiration. So he carved 3 bright crystals to draw your attention to the shop, and crystals amplify the energy around them. So this is exactly how this loved one will communicate with you. They're working as an amplifier of your manifestations behind the scenes without you even realizing. Have you recently thought about something that you manifested or got and wondered how it even came about because it seemed nearly impossible or too good to be true? There are other forces at work or spirits at work helping you out right now. And although this communication from them may not be as obvious as real words, it is there. So you might have to look extra hard to notice these signs in front of you, and they might not be the signs that you're looking for. You see the crystals are so large, shiny, and distracting, and the fact that it doesn't even look like a regular crystal shop or shop even, that's a perfect example of how you should look at the signs behind the scenes, because that's where you'll find the answers and the real signs. Those giant crystals in front of you, in reality, are a distraction from the accessible crystals that are actually for you on sale inside of the shop. So those are the useful ones, the ones that are inside the shop. These ones you can't buy, they're just there, you can look at. So keep searching for those crystals, or keep searching for those signs just for you. The ease that it would take just to grab those 3 crystals and call them yours represents the ease that it'll be to just see those signs of communication from this person, but it's not that easy. You have to keep looking until you find the correct ones for you. They may seem like your signs right there because that's what you're looking for, crystals, but those ones aren't yours. So I promise you'll find them if you keep looking. So yeah, that was your reading. If you liked it, let me know. If it resonated with you, great. If it didn't, that's okay. Still let me know. And thanks for listening. Welcome, deck number 3. Let's see what your reading looks like. Okay, so I'll just give you a quick little overview of the positions of each card. Let me zoom in just a little. Okay. So this first card here represents this person that has passed, this loved one. This one here represents a message that they'd like to give. This one represents something that they think is important. This one represents how they're doing on the other side. And then this one represents how they'll communicate with you in the future. Okay, so this first one here is a representation of them, which is the 6 of crystals. Okay, so in the 6 of crystals, you see a woman balancing on a scale with crystals on the other side. So the suit of crystals is associated with earth element, and it represents physical and material possessions. Also business, wealth, and aspects of our physical health. So the crystals on this scale represent this person's wealth, achievement, and possessions in life. This person has learned over time to be in harmony with those aspects of their life. This lost loved one of yours learned how to balance the success and abundance that they received in their life so that they weren't consumed by it and were able to keep that same perspective. If you look at the card closer, she's holding a rose. This person saw, that means that this person saw the beauty in things from a perspective of balance and purity. They had to learn to see things this way, though they weren't always this way. Her white dress, it represents pure intentions as she's reaching out to share the beauty with the hands that's reaching for help. So it tells me that this loved one you lost was a very generous person, that they would always want to help and give. They had a big heart, and that they had to learn to balance this with the world's more dense energy. Maybe very nurturing as well. This pure, balanced, beautiful nature of this person may not have been easy at first for them. I feel like they learned these ways from previous misguided focus, and now they've learned how to share this beauty without disturbing the balance they achieved. I also feel like to you, this person felt like the crystals on your scale, like they balanced you or balanced you in this world. This card doesn't necessarily mean this person was a woman. It's more of a representation of balance, generosity, and beauty from their perspective and how it took them practice to achieve it. So I feel like this person was probably an earth sign, so probably a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, but they were also very caring, so could have also been a water sign, so Capricorn, not Capricorn, Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. But yeah, so this next one here represents a message that they'd like to give, and this is the Chariot card. So I'll show you what it looks like up close. Okay, so the Chariot, it represents the body through which the mind, spirit, and form are manifest. The horses, they represent the senses of our body, the senses our body uses to journey through life. Controlling the chariot, the driver, or the body in this case, is Lord Krishna, and he represents how our focused mind and intention harness the forces driving us forward in life, and how our minds are the things in control. your right mind controls the left side of your body, and the left mind controls the right side of your body. So Krishna's left arm in the air is a depiction of the right mind thinking, which directs the senses to move us forward. This person being Lord Krishna over anyone else in the chariot reminds us that we're not alone and that we have divine guidance and help in this mission of life. So the person that you lost wants to tell you to focus on your intention and determination. Focus your intention and determination on achieving your goals. With this reading, I feel like these goals are almost more on a physical level, with the crystals in the first representing the physical matters. So this could be a manifestation of a new business or a new idea that you've been thinking of working on, or something that you want to finish. And that means manifesting anything physical, not just the business. So the direct message from this card says, go now and harness your desire with the higher consciousness you always can access. It could also be a push for your physical health too. This person wants you to keep driving that chariot forward no matter what. That's basically the message they want to give to you. So this next one here is something that they think is important, and that is the Reason card. You can see he's holding Talesman there. Okay, so in this Reason card, there's a good father-like figure who brings order and structure. He acts as a complement instead of a polar opposite though. He brings structure to our artistic design, reason to our imagination, and order to chaos. So this person you lost thinks that all these things are important: structure, reasoning, order. This kind of confirms to me that this person may have been an earth sign, because earth signs tend to think more practical. Above his head you see 5 cosmic figures there. Those are the fundamental forms of sacred geometry that Plato and Pythagoras depicted as the shapes of the elements. This one being fire, this one being air, that one being earth, that one water, and then that one ethers. Notice how earth is at the top too, showing dominance. Him holding out a Talesman like a pendulum is a symbol of his vulnerability on one hand, and then the other hand is allowing endless possibilities. So that as well as the 5 symbols of creation represent balance. And balance can be achieved through structure and order and reason. This person you lost is really stressing the importance of structure, balance, and balance in your life. So maybe this was how they were with their life, or maybe they were the type of person that stressed it to you. Like maybe they were just like an authoritative figure, or just a motivating type of energy. But something that they want you to think about is if there are any parts of your life that you feel like you need to take control over or lay down the law, or where do you feel like you need more structure in your life. And this shows correlation with the last 2 cards as well, with the chariot and learning how to control it, and then with the scale and balancing. So maybe they're stressing this balance because they feel you need a little more structure in certain parts of your life. Leaves a few thoughts to possibly reflect on, but it could also be that they're emphasizing it because they want you to create structure in whatever new physical manifestations that you're trying to achieve, like I said in the last ones. This next one here is the 9 of Chalices. This is a representation of how they're doing on the other side. He's smiling, so that's a good sign. Okay, so the 9 of Chalices, it represents celebrating emotional abundance. An Egyptian temple guard is sitting surrounded by his full chalices, loving his world, emotions, and sensate pleasures. The light is shining down on him and the chalices. The chalices represent emotion, while the fact that they're full and ready to be enjoyed represent abundance. Kind of like fine wine for the soul. So the energy of this card is very satisfying. It's very happy and fulfilling, as you can see in his face and the full chalices. In this Starseed Oracle story, of all the cards, the temple guard in the picture, he had just finished the task of examining and reviewing his goals and desires, and then he had determined what had to be done, and then he walked away from his sense of dissatisfaction and stagnation, allowing joy to make way to him in this temple. The reflection and journey brought him to celebrate his successes and achievements, recognizing that letting go has helped him to realize his dreams. So when we pass and our souls leave this realm, we go through sort of like a karmic cleansing, is what I like to call it. Depending on what you believe in, it might be called something different, like judgment, but it's basically the spirit goes through these stages where it's faced with all the karma it's created in this lifetime, and depending on if you've learned those lessons that you were meant to learn or not depends on whether you have to reincarnate back on Earth and try to learn those lessons the next time around. These lessons that need to be learned in each lifetime are key to ascending to the next dimension. If these tough lessons aren't learned, it weighs heavy on our spirits, making us more dense to the world. And your spirit can only ascend to its own level of density. So if you have unresolved issues on Earth weighing your spirit, like weighing heavy down on your spirit, then it's going to be too heavy to climb through the spiral tunnel to the higher dimensions in your transition, and you could get stuck back here reincarnating on Earth for another try. So that's why it's so important to heal yourself inside and out, mentally, emotionally, physically, in order to raise your vibration enough to ascend. That's the goal of why most of us are here, to raise the vibration on Earth, to help ascend into the new world in a higher vibration, a higher dimension. So yeah, but the energy of this key is great satisfaction, happiness, and fulfillment. And being that the temple guard just finished examining and reflecting on his life goals and desires, and is now celebrating his success and achievements, knowing that letting go helped him realize his dreams, makes me feel like this person that you lost has just finished this process of karmic cleansing and is now in their state of happiness and fulfillment, because all their debts have been paid now and realizations of actions have been brought to light and transformed into better energy. I do feel like through this process of the spirit cleansing, though, they were able to lighten and lift their spirit high enough to a higher dimension, higher than this dense 3D Earth, and they want you to join them and do the same. Join them in ascension when it's your time to transition. So that's what I'm getting from this card. This next card here is the Six of Orbs. This one represents how they'll communicate with you in the future. And that's a dolphin there. Okay. So the Six of Orbs reflects thought in the mental body. It embodies the experience of communicating those thoughts to others and recognizing the challenges of the mind. Within each orb is held an aspect or perception that is kind of the product of our own thought processes. It kind of reminds me of that one movie, Inside Out, if you've ever seen it. It's like an animated movie that shows the life of a little girl's emotions in her head as if they were like each a different individual person. Like one was joy, one was anger, sadness, and they all acted how they were. They controlled these little orb-looking things that were like memory balls and were stored inside her head. So the balls were the color of the memory. So like if it was a sad memory, it'd be blue. If it was angry, then it'd be red. So basically, it's the same concept with the orbs in this card. In this story, the dolphin, it symbolizes the higher self seeking distance from the ego-driven turmoil caused by previous events. So he's trying to move to higher ground to escape the turbulent, unpredicted waters of the sea of emotion within. So he's seeking calmness for clarity, but he's not realizing that he's the cause of the rough waters and lack of clarity. So he can't escape it. Instead, he brings it with him to hopefully find calmer waters. I feel like this person might be trying to communicate with you, but you can't seem to quiet your mind enough to be able to receive those messages that are being sent. The water symbolizes our flow of emotions, and Metatron's cube symbol in the back there represents the higher vibration of the creative mind, which, freed from the storm of emotional upset, is clear to focus on architectural wisdom and beauty of all creation. So this person wants to communicate with you, but might not be able to reach you until you move to quieter water and calm the mind. It's kind of like if they were on the opposite side of a busy highway trying to have a conversation with you. Like you wouldn't be able to hear anything until you went somewhere quieter or until traffic died down or completely died down. Try meditating and stilling the body to still the mind, since they both are connected, and hopefully those messages will become more clearer to you. But yeah, you can receive a lot by just sitting still and just trying to listen for longer periods of time. I do see this person communicating with you, though, a lot through meditation and through stilling your mind, quieting those loud thoughts. So try like even like 5 minutes a day if you can. So that was your 5-card reading. Let me know what you think. If it resonated with you, great. If it didn't, that's okay. Still let me know. Thank you for listening. Welcome, pile number 4. Let's see what your reading looks like. Okay, so I'll just give a quick overview of what the position of the cards. So this first one over here represents this person, this lost loved one that you lost, represents their characteristics and everything about them. This one here represents a message that they'd like to give. This one represents something that they think is important. This one represents how they're doing on the other side. And then this one represents how they'll communicate with you in the future. Okay, so this first one here is a representation of your lost loved one. And it is the 6 of Flames. Okay. This card really centers around this person's creative vision or success. I can tell this person was probably passionate at times about certain things, or maybe was just passionate with the way that they spoke or presented themselves. Maybe a little competitive too. This person was probably a fire sign, since those are a lot of the characteristics. So possibly an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. This person you lost was the type of person who would take the lead and bring balance into any confusion. Kind of like a judge or mediator in a way. Possibly into music or singing or just performing in some sort of way. Being on a stage, or possibly even someone who speaks in front of the public regularly, like a teacher, instructor, coach, or possibly even a flight attendant who speaks on the PA to the cabin a lot. There are a lot of energies involved in this reading though, so I do feel like this person could have liked attention of some sort, or just being the center of attention maybe. Or maybe they were your center of attention, like the light of your life, or someone who was most special to you over other people. They definitely had leader-like characteristics though, and like to be in control with a dominating personality. So if you look at in the picture, the flames of the other 5 have been pushed so far back that they've almost disappeared. That's almost how this person's energy was. Not in a bad way, but more innocently. But could have came off to some people as a little bit extra. But really they were just passionate about what they believed in and how they presented themselves. So this second one here is a message that they'd like to give. And you got the 9 of Crystals. Oops. Yes. So 9 of Crystals looks like this up close. Okay. So the energy of the 9 of Crystals is about her confidence, grace, and financial security. She's obtained success and an amazing amount of abundance through her hard work. She's returned, and now it's time to enjoy the fruits of her labor. This loved one is saying that you've achieved what you desired and have now been able to surround yourself in the comfort, peace, and serenity that your efforts have earned you. They want you to know that abundance is in every aspect of life and that nature responds to your energy. This is a message telling you to truly enjoy creation and find the treasures in life, because it does go fast. That pure white owl in the back symbolizes the aspect of our higher selves that sees through everything, even the darkness. She has a look of satisfaction on her face. You can see she's looking at her treasures, and her treasures represent her experience and accomplishments she's brought to her nest from her garden of beauty. So this person wants you to stop and enjoy your accomplishments and success. All that you brought to the table, like everything that you've earned, they want you to enjoy it and not just try to keep earning more. Your chest is getting full, so maybe it's time to spread the wealth a little bit. What good is a treasure if you don't put it to use, right? This person doesn't want you to take anything for granted in life. They want you to use the abundance for the greater good instead of just contemplating its value. So yeah, they really are stressing not to take anything for granted and to enjoy the beauties of life. So this next one here, it represents something that they think is important. And this is the 4 of Orbs. So the 4 of Orbs, it comes after a time of upset. As you can see, there's a storm in the back. This card is about seeking calm and restoration. It's about silencing the noise of the mind and allowing the waves of intuitive inner knowing to wash gently over the energy bodies. taking time to pause, reflect, and just simply be. The suit of orbs reflects thought in the mental body, so this person probably saw the importance in meditating, calming, or stilling the mind. It might even be stressing it to you for you to try meditating in order to calm and restore your mind and body as well, because the mind and body are connected. As you can see in the picture, the orbs representing the mind and thoughts connecting through the body, one directly affecting the other, like getting sad as an emotion in your head and your body crying tears. So if you calm your mind, there will be a direct correlation with that calmness in the body. This person sees the importance of that and knows the benefit of it, and they want you to realize it too. So this one right here, it represents how they're doing on the other side, which is the Nine of Flames. Okay. So I see this card as basically a representation of the person on the other side in a way. The Knight of Flames is about a hero who has taken his dream and creative passion through inception, materialization, opposition, and battle, and still stands strong in his commitment and determination, despite the fact that he is wounded. He's in front of the Great Pyramid of Giza, symbolizing his strength, as well as the army of flames behind him. He's clearly a figure of undefeatable force, of conviction, standing for his truth and the right to express it. So when our spirit transitions and we leave this earth, they go through these stages of sort of karmic cleansing, depending on what you believe in. It may be known as something different, like judgment, but basically the spirit goes through these stages where it faces all the karma it created in its lifetime and has to answer to it. And depending on whether or not it's achieved the goals and lessons it set out to learn on earth or not, will determine whether the spirit ascends to a higher dimension or has to reincarnate back on earth to try to learn those lessons the next time around. If you carry heavy stuff on your spirit or push stuff off to deal with later or just avoid resolving problems in general, it weighs heavy on your spirit, lowering your vibration. That's why it's so important to raise your vibration in order to lift your spirit high enough to ascend out of this dense 3D world whenever it's your time to transition. I feel like this loved one that you lost might still be answering to the karmic ripple that they've created for themselves. I mean, the exact words of the Starseed deck say, the hero is standing strong in the light of his conviction. He represents our own commitment to a cause and courage to stand for it. So this person definitely had their reasons for doing the things that they did and are passionate about its defense. With orange dominating in color though, the overall energy of this card is passionate pleasure though. So they aren't in a bad place of argument or punishment or anything, but more of a place of passionate defense with the intent of bringing clarity and understanding to the issues and the things that they did. This next one here represents how they will communicate with you in the future, which is the Five of Chalices. You can see that. So in the Five of Chalices, a maiden sits on the bank of a woodland stream with 3 chalices floating away and sinking, while 2 of them remain upright at the edge. She's so absorbed in her loss and despair that she can't see the 2 chalices that still remain right in front of her. The sunken chalices in the water represent what's in the past and can't be retrieved. The message of this card to you is to focus on what is still standing and to rebuild from there. What's gone is gone, and the sooner you let go and open your eyes to what you do have, the sooner you'll heal. This message is meant to be very loving, as it's surrounded with the color of the heart chakra in nature. So it's not that they don't want to communicate with you, but more like they feel like it'll cause you more sadness than happiness, because you might tend to fall into the trap of remembering the loss more than the happy memories. Or maybe it's that they fear that that's what they'll cause. Or are you focusing too much on the loss maybe that you can't see the signs that are right in front of you? Wipe those tears so you can see those signs a lot clearer. This person does want to try to communicate with you. Okay, so that was your 5-card reading. I hope it resonated with you. If not, that's okay. If it did, great. Let me know. And thanks for listening.